Hugo Preuß was a German lawyer and liberal politician. He was the author of the draft version of the constitution that was passed by the Weimar National Assembly and came into force in August 1919. He based it on three principles. All political authority belongs to the people, that the state should be organized on a federal basis, and that the Reich should form a democratic Rechtsstaat within the international community. Early life and academic career. Hugo Preuß was born in Berlin on 28 October 1860 as the only child of Levin Preuß, a Jewish owner of a lithographic business, and his wife Minna. Hugo's father died in 1862, and in 1863 his mother married her husband's brother, Leopold Preuß, a well-off grain merchant. After growing up in the western part of Berlin, Hugo Preuß attended university from 1878 at Berlin and Heidelberg, studying Rechts- und Staatswissenschaften but with additional courses on history and philosophy. In May 1883 he passed the Staatsexamen and in November was awarded the Dr.Iur at Göttingen. He stopped working as a legal referendar in 1886 and instead chose a career as an academic teacher. In 1889, he was habilitated with his publication Gemeinstaat, Reich als Gebietskörperschaften and began working as a private docent at the university in Berlin. Although the quality of his writings was appreciated by academia, his Jewish religion and democratic liberal views prevented him from becoming a tenured professor at the conservative Berlin University. In 1889, Preuß also married Else Liebermann, daughter of Karl Liebermann in Berlin. She was also related to Max Liebermann, the artist, and to Felix Liebermann. Hugo and Else had 4 sons, one of whom died early. The others were Ernst, Gert and Jean. In 1895, he became a member of the municipal parliament in Charlottenburg, Berlin. Only in 1906 did Preuß become a full professor at the Berliner Handelshochschule, newly founded by local merchants. He taught there until 1918, when he also was rector. His main focus was on constitutional law and on autonomous municipal administration. In 1906, the first volume of Die Entwicklung des deutschen Staatswesens was published. From 1910 to 18 he was honorary city councillor for the FVP. In this capacity he contributed to the project that what would later become the Greater Berlin Act. In 1912, he unsuccessfully ran for a seat in the Reichstag. In his widely read publication Das Deutsche Volk und die Politik of 1915, he forcefully argued for a transformation of the Obrigkeitsstaat into a Volksstaat. Revolution, political career and Weimar Constitution. Only a few days after the abdication of Emperor Wilhelm II had been announced during the German Revolution of 1918-19, Preuß, in an article published on 14 November 1918, called on the middle classes to accept facts and cooperate in creating the Republic. On 15 November, the head of the revolutionary government, Friedrich Ebert of the Social Democratic Party of Germany, appointed Preuß as Staatssekretär des Innen. At the time, the Revolutionary Council of the People's Deputies coexisted with the old imperial bureaucracy. Although the council served as the cabinet and took the important decisions, it lacked an administrative apparatus and thus made use of the existing structures. Under the old imperial constitution, the Staatssekretär had been the heads of the various Ämter, not true ministers but more senior civil servants working for the Reichskanzler. Preuß's role thus could be described as head of the Ministry of the Interior. The Council of the People's Deputies tasked him with preparing a draft for a new Republican constitution. In November, Preuß also was a founding member of the New Deal BDP. On 13 February 1919, Preuß became Reich's minister in the first elected government of the Republic under Minister-President Philipp Scheidemann. Preuß opposed vehemently the Triple Entente prohibition of the incorporation of German Austria into Germany as a contradiction of the Wilsonian principle of self-determination of peoples. The government resigned on 20 June 1919 in protest against the Treaty of Versailles. It was followed by the government of Gustav Bauer, who appointed Preuß Reichskommissar für Verfassungsfragen. On 14 August 1919, the Weimar Constitution came into force. The final version of the Constitution naturally was different from his original draft in various ways. Preuß's ideas were notably rejected concerning the reorganization of the individual territories of the Reich blocked by the new governments of the states. He also was unable to put into practice his idea of a very narrow definition of fundamental rights limited to the classical freedoms, which he wanted to codify in just 3 articles of the Constitution. Moreover, his attempt to change the nature of the second parliamentary chamber proved impossible. However, some parts of the Weimar Constitution, considered especially problematic in hindsight, were strongly shaped by his ideas. In particular, the powerful position of the head of state, the Reichspräsident, who was given authority to dissolve the Reichstag with no effective limitations and who had considerable emergency powers under Article 48, did not appear to Preuß as a contradiction to the idea of a democratic state. He felt this was a necessary precaution to deal with the danger of a dictatorship of the parliamentary majority and to resolve conflicts between government and parliament by the most democratic method available, through new elections. Preuß also was pessimistic about the ability of the political parties to operate successfully within the new framework. They had no experience in taking on responsibility or with the sort of compromise required for stable government. Under the Empire, the governments had operated mostly independently of the parties and the Reichstag majority of the day. Later life. From 1919 to 1925, Preuß was a member first of the Verfassungsgebäude Preußische Landesversammlung, the equivalent of the National Assembly for the Freistaat Preußen, and then the Preußische Landtag. He published numerous works on legal and constitutional issues as well as pro-republican writings. He was also active in the Reichsbanner Schwarz-Rot-Gold. Hugo Preuß died in Berlin on 9 October 1925. He is buried at the Urnenfriedhof Goethestrasse, Berlin-Wedding. Since 1952 the grave has been an ehrengrab of what is now the state of Berlin. The Jewish background of the main author of its constitution was one reason why the Weimar Republic was referred to as Juden Republic by its detractors on the right. Works: Franz Lieber, Ein Bürgers Feuerwelt in Habel, Berlin 1886. Gemeindestaat, Reich, 1889. Das Städtische Amtsrecht in Preußen, 1902. Die Entwicklung des deutschen Staatswesens, Volume 1. Entwicklungsgeschichte der deutschen Staatsverfassung, 1906. Staat und Staat, 1909. Zur preußischen Verwaltungsreform, 1910. Das deutsche Volk und die Politik, 1915. Deutschlands Republikanische Reichsverfassung, 1921. Vom Obrigkeitsstaat zum Volksstaat, 1921. Die Weimarer Reichsverfassung, 1924. Staat, Recht und Freiheit. Auswärtige Jahren deutsche Politik und Geschichte, 1926. Verfassungspolitische Entwicklungen in Deutschland und Westeuropa, ed. by Hedwig Hinters, Berlin 1927. Reich und Lande. Bruchstag Heinz Kommentars zur Verfassung des Deutschen Reiches, ed. by Gerhard Anschutz, Berlin 1928. Gesammelte im Auftrag der Hugo Preuß Gesellschaft v. 5 volumes, ed. by Detlef Leonard Tübingen 2007, Volume 1, Politik und Gesellschaft im Kaiserreich 2007, Volume 2, Öffentliches Recht und Rechtsphilosophie im Kaiserreich 2009, Volume 3, Verfassungsentwurf, Verfassungskommentar, Verfassungstheorie, Volume 4, Politik und Verfassung in der Weimarer Republik 2008, Volume 5, Kommunalwissenschaft und Kommunalpolitik 2012.